In wilds beyond they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught we changed, base instincts were redeemed. A world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. From Elegy for Hollowness by Monomon the Teacher. Welcome everybody, this is Nightsaber Z42, and this is Hollow Knight. What a great opening for a great game. We are the Knight, a vessel with the void inside of the shell. And we'll talk about that later in this playthrough. But for now, I'm gonna talk about this playthrough in general. This is probably about my 6th attempt at recording this for the YouTubes. Not because it's hard. Well, if it's your first time, it is rather difficult. But because I always get lost in it and I just play through it on my own without recording. So that's how much I really like this game. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. This series is going to be very different than my other series. Usually I don't plan things out in this amount of detail, and everything is post-commentary. So I hope to make this probably the best series that I've ever created. So if you really like it, then feel free to give it a like, or you can comment down below and tell me what I can do to improve. But for now, I'm going to talk about Hollow Knight. In this series, I am definitely going to go above and beyond and do 100%, although really technically 100% doesn't stop at 100%, it goes above 100. And so I will also talk about the lore of Hollow Knight and really try to get players who are new to this game ready for Silk Song if they are interested, or if this is your first time playing, then you could follow along as best as you can. That pitfall down up above, I don't think you can jump over it, and I don't think you can make that ledge over there to the left. I think I've tried before and I've never really been successful at it. So feel free to try. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Beyond this point you enter the land of King and Creator. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the eternal kingdom, Hollow Nest. Bash the door open to escape the king's way, and we will finally begin our journey. And we're going to go into my favorite area in the entire game. It is the first village, Dirtmouth, mainly for this score right here by Christopher Larkin. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it, and every time I play it on piano too. Take a listen.
Yeah?
Oh there, traveler, I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that well one by one into the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet it still draws folks into its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment, that darkness seems to promise all things. Well, watch out. It's a sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad and travelers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all. Many used to come, hoping the kingdom would fulfill their desires. Hollow Nest, it was once called, supposedly the greatest kingdom there ever was, full of treasures and secrets. Now it's nothing more than a poisonous tomb full of monsters and madness. Everything fades eventually, I suppose. Feeling tired? That bench may be iron, but I assure you it's quite comfortable. There's no better place to collect your thoughts. Plus, I enjoy the company. Not that you seem the talkative type. All of the shops in Dirtmouth are closed at the very beginning of the game. And our goal is to get our first shopkeeper, Sly. And so as we head down, we're going to go the route that probably all new players go, and that's all the way to the right. And this is the Forgotten Crossroads, and this will change as time goes by, as we reach a certain point in the game. But our first stop is actually going to be in the Black Egg Temple, which is along the way, and it has very high lore significance. And it's also where we meet our second NPC. Hello there. How delightful to meet another traveler on these forgotten roads. You're a short one, but you've a strong look about you. I'm Querl. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is right here. A great stone egg lying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. And this egg? Is it warm? It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery, and who knows what other marvels may lie even deeper below us. For so long I felt drawn here, so many tales full of wonders and horrors. No longer could I resist. I just had to see for myself, and what a time I chose to arrive. The creatures are riled up and the earth rumbles. The air is thick. I wonder what could have brought it all about. To persevere in these ruins, the old nail alone won't be enough, though that's no problem. One only has to look around. Plenty have come before us, and most have met their grisly end, many more equipped than you and I. I'm sure they wouldn't mind were a fellow explorer to relieve them of their tools. It's a kindness, really. Did you pass that town above? What a gloomy little place. I suppose that's why we've all headed down here. Truly a marvel. Querl is about my favorite character in this entire game. For good reason, as we will see later on in this playthrough. But for now, exit the temple and head over to the right. So there are a couple things that I want to accomplish in this first episode, and as a beginner, you want to do these things. First and foremost, collect as much geo as you can. You're going to need it to buy certain items that we'll want very early in the game. 2, we want to rescue Sly, and I will show you exactly where Sly is. 3, we want to unlock the Stagway tunnels so we can fast travel. Alright, this big guy right here, he hits pretty hard with his club. He deals 2 masks of worth of damage, so be very careful when dealing with him. But getting hit to him is actually worth it in its own right. You get quite a lot of geo for this early in the game, plus you get to rescue the little green caterpillar, or the grub I believe he's called. Don't worry about going over to the right. We cannot head over to the Crystal Caverns just yet, but there is an NPC who has some dialogue that's a little bit different at the beginning, before she goes crazy. So if you want to, you could go ahead and talk to her, but she really only says like 2 things. Try not to defeat enemies using spikes, because you can't actually get your geo from spikes, or at least not yet. An alternative way to start this game, instead of going to the right, you can go to the left and head down the shaft that you see in that area to get to the map maker Cornifer, and you can actually get the map quite early, but you're still going to need some geo to do it, so make sure you defeat all the enemies in that area. This little grub up here, you can't get to him until you get the dash ability, so we'll have to come back and rescue him at a later time. But there is a geo cache, so make sure you grab that. Here's the elevator shaft that I was talking about. Although if you decided to go left at the start of this area, then you would actually be up above. Make sure when you drop down that there are no enemies below you, because you will take a hit and that could be potentially bad. Ah, hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins. Don't mind me. I have a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass for my wife, Iselda. She's just now opening our new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. Oh, by the way, I haven't introduced myself, have I? Yes, I should apologize for that. When you spend a lot of time by yourself with just your own thoughts, you forget yourself. My name is Cornifer, and I've always loved exploring the world. Why, when I was first hatched, I wandered off immediately, leaving my brothers and sisters and poor mother behind. That's why, as soon as I could, I moved to Dirtmouth with my wife, a huge, unending kingdom to explore right here below Dirtmouth. Anyways, I'll let you return to your travels. With a little luck, we'll meet again. How are you finding my map? I've tried to fill out as much as I can, but every map is different. If you'd like to fill out some of the map yourself, you can purchase some mapping supplies for my wife up in Dirtmouth. I hope my voice acting isn't annoying anybody, because I really do enjoy doing it. Cornifer gives two different hints. When you are near Cornifer, you will probably start to see bits of paper dropped on the floor, and that kind of leads you to where Cornifer is. The second hint that he gives when you're near him is his humming. He always hums that same song, and it kind of gets in my brain sometimes. But whenever you hear it, you know that he is somewhere nearby, although sometimes he's kind of hidden, so you'll have to really look. Sometimes he will be in an area that you can't reach just yet in the game, and I'll kind of mention that when we get to the Fog Canyons in a later episode. This little fight is very easy. Just watch out for when they spit their little projectiles at you. But once you defeat them, the gates open up. Make sure you grab all the geo that you can. And up above is our first spring that you can get to. Now, spring water actually heals your masks, which I kind of find redundant that they would put the iron bench here because the bench also heals. But I believe that if you have any lifeblood masks, by resting at the bench, you will actually get rid of those lifebloods. You'll start with just the white masks. So it still kind of seems weird that they would include that here, but oh well. A bench also saves your progress, so there is that. Be careful when you're going across these worms. You can actually strike the worms and get a little bit of a knockback, which we'll start using later on when we're doing some platforming with them to get to higher areas. But for now, just be careful. Again, part of our goal is to get as much geo as we can, so really look for those enemies in those odd places to get as much geo as you can. Instead of going at the bottom route, go to the top route to get some geo caches. Just be careful that you don't actually get hit by the worms like I did. You will have to drop down to get out of this area, but instead of progressing downwards, go back up, because if you go across the top, you can actually get to some more. This geocache can be a little bit difficult. If you do not have the dash ability, you will take a hit, and you will see why. If you do have the dash ability, dash in and then dash out, and you will avoid taking damage. Something to make note of about combat. Every time you hit an enemy with your nail, you do get a little bit of a knockback. There is an ability, or rather a badge that you can get later on that negates the knockback, but I find this very highly destructive. Mainly because you're gonna come to rely on that knockback for certain enemies. And so without that knockback, you actually will probably end up taking more hits than you'll realize. Defeat the grub mother, but the grub's mother is not dead just yet because she has some babies inside of her, which you will need to defeat in order to open up the gates. Unfortunately, they do not spawn any extra geo, so it's kind of rather pointless, but there's a lot, so take them out quickly and then leave. And this area over here to the right, we cannot go to. This is a badge merchant, and we will need the dash ability to get to her. Instead, go inside this open hut to meet Sly, the shop trader. You wield your nail like a club. Asme, how much deeper do we have to go? Oh, what? Who are you? I see. This old village. What a strange dream to have led me down here. If you hadn't found me, I don't think I would have ever woken. I'm Sly. Usually I live an uneventful life up in Dirtmouth. The air in these ruins doesn't agree with me, so I'd best be getting back. And if you return above, come and see me. I'm probably the friendliest place left there. Sly will be waiting up top with his shop open for business once we get to Dirtmouth. For now, we're going to accomplish our last goal, which is to open the Stagway stations, or the fast travel stations. And there's a lot of different, you can get a lot of different lore by talking to the stag, which is very cool. I really enjoyed his side quests, and if you unlock pretty much all of the fast travel routes, then you will open up an extra area that's just where the stags were born, and you get even more lore from that. So there's always seems to be a bench in each fast travel station, and you do need to pay some geo to actually open up the bell to ring, so the stag will actually come to you.
Greetings, little one. It's been an age since I last heard the ringing of the station bell. It echoed down the stagways all the way here. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years. These stagways stretch to the depths of hollowness. If you want to travel them, hail me from the platform. I will take you where you need to go. It was a long time ago, but I remember when these highways and crossroads pulsed with life. Those travelers are long gone, yet I still remain. Now it seems it's just you and I and a furtive creature stretching from above. Eager to travel the stagways, just hop up on that platform and ring the bell.
Anyways, we'll head up top to Dirtmouth, and then we're gonna call this an episode. Now, there was another building that had its door closed, and just simply by going up the elevator and hitting the switch, the door now opens, so you can fast travel to Dirtmouth at your leisure. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this episode off here, so thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Check the description for my Facebook and Twitter information, and while you're at it, give this video a huge thumbs up to support the series. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.